has been closed down.
Now, Venezuela's president wants all the country's gold being held in European and American banks returned to Caracas. It would be the largest physical movement of gold in recent history. Chavez said he's trying to protect his country from the financial woes on both sides of the Atlantic. For more, let's talk now to author and researcher Adrian Salbucci. He's in Buenos Aires for us. Mr. Salbucci, what do you think is driving Chavez to withdraw this huge amount of gold from international banks?
Well, I believe that you have to make a double reading on this. First of all, there's a financial one, and then there's a political one. The financial one is really quite simple, I would imagine. Seeing the way the markets are going, seeing the way the European Union's and the United States economy is going. The price of gold is above $1,815 in these last few days. So naturally, Venezuela is the 13th largest holder of gold countries in the world. So they have something like about 154 tons of gold in the Central Bank of Venezuela, and they have a further 211 tons of gold abroad. So they want to bring that into Venezuela, and it does coincide with the fact that Chavez has nationalized all gold mining and so forth in Venezuela. So from the point of view of the financial aspect, I think it's a very shrewd and intelligent move to protect his country's gold assets. There is, however, a political overtone in that he wants to pull out the other financial assets that Venezuela has in the UK, in the US, and in Britain, and push it into what he calls more likable allies, Russia, China, and Brazil, notably.
Certainly a very big statement being made, but in practical terms, we're talking about huge volumes here. Over 200 tons of Venezuelan's gold is currently held overseas. So really, how can this move be executed?
Well, it can be executed, and Venezuela has said very clearly that they will be doing it transitionally and slowly, because they want to make sure that the actual gold that they get back is the gold that they originally sent, especially after some rumors that there had been some counterfeiting of certain gold ingots in various, especially in America and other parts of Europe. So I think Chavez wants to make sure that the gold he sent out is the gold he's going to be getting back in his central bank vaults. There is, however, another aspect which I think perhaps Mr. Chavez has not measured the potential risk and consequences, because this is an outright attack on the U.S., on the U.K. and on the European Union as major financial markets, as major areas of safety to keep your gold. Argentina, for example, my country, has all its gold in the vaults of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Now, if this could start a run on keeping gold in America, in the European Union, and in the UK and in Switzerland, this might have much more dire consequences than Mr. Chavez imagines. Because if we go back in history, in 2002, in November to be exact, Saddam Hussein used his $1 billion per annum oil for food and medicines agreement after the first Gulf War to sell oil, but he, instead of doing it in dollars, he did it in euros. And that could have created a run on the dollar as no longer being the major currency for the oil market. So that was in November 2002.
Salbucci, just to clarify this, is the movement of this amount of gold enough to really affect the markets?
As I was saying, it is if it creates a run on the gold market. And what the point I wanted to sort of very much stress is that when Iraq did that in 2002, we all remember that in March 2003, Saddam Hussein ran into a little bit of trouble. So very often the reaction can be dire. I say this because what we're seeing in Syria and in Libya, all this regime change epidemic, clearly stressed from the NATO countries, the U.S. and Britain notably, will start spreading to Latin America, and this might be a triggering mechanism that might even justify a political move to start regime change throughout Latin America, which would no doubt start with Venezuela. So actions such as this could very well be the triggers for greater geopolitical actions, as Saddam's move in November 2002 was a trigger for his country actually being invaded in March 2003.
Okay, Adrian Salbucci, author and researcher, talking us from Buenos Aires. Many thanks for those thoughts.